So when you think about these new big ideas that you've come up with, like, decisions and success and, Brittany, like your communication and equity and that kind of stuff, how does that affect the driving questions that you had initially considered for your lesson? Those big driving questions that everything refers back to, that kids want to be able to kind of have a good understanding of and an understanding of why they're doing it. How does that alter those or play into those? Would you change your driving questions?
I might change the way I had it worded.
Okay.
Mine is just, how can we share what we know about our subject with the students in Uganda?
So what kind of changes do you think that you would make to where your driving question and your big ideas kind of go together?
I mean, I have the communicate part in there with the share.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it needs to be more defined.
Do you think it's going to get kids motivated? Do you think, like, does it give them, a purpose? Does it help guide them in their planning? Does it create interest and make them feel challenged? And does it guide their work? And then does it answer, why are we doing this? That kind of stuff. Those are the big questions that you want to think about with your driving question, because those are things, that's something that you would revisit every day, like whenever you're thinking about teaching this lesson and reminding them of why you're doing what you're doing in the bigger scheme of things. What do you think, Lori? Would you have a different driving question, or would you reword it in some way?
I don't know. I might reword them just a little bit, but I don't. I mean, they have them making decisions and thinking about the tools and things they're going to need.
And Lori, whenever you look at your questions, because you've got 5, do you see them all as driving questions?
I see several of them kind of fitting together, maybe into,
And whenever I look at them, I picture that you would ask every single one of those to your kids, because they're all good questions.
Yeah.
But I see that one of them really stands out as more of a driving question, and the others seem like they're supporting questions. Things that you would definitely ask the kids to help them to get to the driving question. Do you see that?
Well, I see that how can you create the business? That's, to me, that's that one, and then the others kind of.
What do they have to know before they can create a business, though? What kind of knowledge do they have to have?
Well, they have to know before they can actually create the actual business. They have to know what they're going to do, what they want to offer, what they.
Would another Walmart work if it were smack dab in the middle of Joplin?
No, not necessarily.
Probably because it's Walmart, but but if it were any other business, probably not.
25th Sonic work, I guess. Yeah.
It probably would.
I don't know. Let's think then. What does Joplin not need? Another newspaper printer,
There you go.
Well, I know what I've had them think about when they started thinking about this was, is there something they think we need in our community?
Mm-hmm.
Is there?
Well, they're a different market. Yeah. So, they're a market that's probably not catered to very often. And so, yeah, I think, so what kind of question did you ask them?
I asked them what they would like to see in our community and how we could accomplish that? What kind of establishment do you think we need to help better and rebuild our community? I asked him, what do we need in our community?
So, like, say they were a city developer and they were coming into any city, doesn't even have to be one ravaged by a tornado, but like any city, what question would that city developer ask themselves or whatever?
What's missing? What do we need here? I keep thinking, what could we give the community that is not already here?
Yeah. I think you're right on top of it, Lori.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. So really, if you think about that question, what does our community need? Which, let me see what your question actually was. What kind of business do you think we need to help better and rebuild our community? That could fit the needs of, if people do think that a business needs to be started, but what if they think that we need another community shelter for some reason? Would both of those answers be okay?
Yeah.
Because there's a business plan for both of those.
Yeah.
If you're a nonprofit or for profit, you would still be you'd still have to have a business plan together.
Yeah.
Brittany, does that change some of what you've been thinking about?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I want to word it.
Mm-hmm. So what are you thinking, like kind of in a broad sense?
I think I was trying to be too specific at first.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, what about this one, Heather?
Okay.
I put, how can we create and share what we know with the school in Uganda so that equal resources are available? Is that getting closer?
I'm going to type that in, and then let's look at it. Let's look at it as a team. So, like, we read the last part of it after Uganda, so that resources, what?
So that equal resources are available.
Okay. Let's look at it. So,
okay, we've got equality and we've got resources in there, which I think is a really big deal for what you're wanting to do, because you're not wanting to just have kids regurgitate information. You're wanting them to make a difference. So I think that focusing on equality and resources are huge.
Okay.
Does it have to be creating? Does it have to be sharing?
By the end of the project, yes.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if I could put that in there.
And
or could I just put like communicate?
Okay. How can we communicate what we know with the school in Uganda so that equal resources are available? What if we just say, how can we communicate with others so that equal resources are available?
Okay.
And the thing is, sometimes you can be surprised that kids they know that this is the end result, but once we let them go, we take the end result away from them, they'll go farther with that than what we expected them to. So if we're originally thinking, okay, they're going to make a book and they're going to share it, but if we are just saying, what can we do so that we've got equal resources? What might those kids decide to do on top of that? Maybe they'll organize a penny war at the school, and they will send resources so that, I don't know, a well could be dug, because I think it's like $50 sometimes for that kind of thing. And that would actually hit another one of your glees that you weren't even anticipating, because it would become the study of water conservation.
Okay.
What do you think?
I mean, I'm open to whatever.
What if you just pose that question to your kids, first of all? Do your kids know about this?
No,
Okay.
We haven't even started it.
So what if you just pose the question of, what can we do to ensure that others have equal resources? Because it looks like Heather has written that down. And brainstorm things. And you know that you definitely want to do this thing with math resources for the kids. So you can always throw that in also. But I could definitely see that the kids will be doing that, but then other things as well.